Hello everyone, now we will continue to follow the story of One Piece. In the previous episode, Luffy brought Sanji and Nami to the doctor's house, and when Nami woke up, she saw a small deer that could speak human language. As for the little deer, when it saw Nami, it got startled and ran into things everywhere, making a loud noise. It was heard by the only doctor in the village, named Dr. Kureha. Then Dr. Kureha used her finger to check Nami's temperature and found that her fever had gone down a lot, and she told Nami that she was very lucky. If she had been 2 days later, Nami would have died. She also said that Nami's illness was caused by an ancient insect called Keshikam. At this time, Nami was not 100% recovered yet. She needed at least 3 more days for treatment. But Nami couldn't wait for 3 days. She needed to take Vivi to Alabasta urgently. Upon hearing that, the fierce Dr. Kureha took a knife to Nami's throat and threatened that she must be cured first before she could leave. Turning to Luffy and Sandy, they were resting in a nearby room with a little deer named Chopper taking care of them. 13,000:50,001:04,490 Chopper really admired Luffy in his heart, because when Luffy arrived, he didn't think about himself, but asked the doctor to help his new friends. He woke up, he was very hungry, and as soon as he saw Chopper, his mouth started watering. The same with Sanji. As soon as he saw Chopper, he already thought about what dish to cook him into. Then, the two of them chased Chopper, running wildly all over the house. And when Chopper couldn't take it anymore, he transformed into a muscular human form and knocked them both to the ground. Dr. Kureha had told Nami that Chopper is a deer born with a different, blue nose, and because of that, his herd didn't really accept him. Later, he ate a special fruit that allowed him to walk on 2 legs. When the other deer saw this, they completely cast him out of the herd. After that, Chopper went to a human village, hoping someone would accept him. But when they saw him, they took out their guns and chased and shot at him because his appearance wasn't human. Chopper's life was very sad. Because of his different appearance, he was discriminated against everywhere. Sanji and Luffy were no different. When they saw Chopper could transform into a human-like form, they thought he was a monster. Their words deeply hurt Chopper's feelings. Later, through Nami, Luffy learned about Chopper's story and went to ask him to be his friend. At that time, no matter how much Chopper refused, Luffy kept trying to persuade him to join the crew. Speaking of friendship, Dr. Kureha recalled more of Chopper's story, saying that in the past, Chopper had only one friend. When Chopper was shot by humans, he was seriously injured. At that time, a doctor named Hiraluk saved his life. In fact, it was Dr. Hiraluk who named him Chopper. From that time on, Dr. Hiraluk took Chopper with him to help treat the villagers. They lived together very happily, but a year later, after Chopper's wounds healed, Dr. Hiraluk suddenly chased Chopper out of the house to live on his own. The reason was that Dr. Hiraluk had an incurable disease and he would die soon. At that time, Chopper didn't know about this. He begged Dr. Hiraluk not to chase him away. He even hit his own head until it bled so that Dr. Hiraluk would continue to treat him. But at that moment, Dr. Kureha didn't care about his wound and even took out his gun and shot at him. Later, Chopper overheard Dr. Kureha and Dr. Hiraluk talking and learned that Dr. Hiraluk had an incurable disease and could only live for about 10 more days. After Dr. Hiraluk passed away, Chopper came to live and study medicine with Dr. Kureha. It has been 6 years now. Then, Wapol and his 2 followers arrived there to reclaim his castle. In the past, Wapol was the king of that country, and he abandoned his people during a national crisis. Now that the country has been restored, he wants to come back and reclaim his kingship. As for Luffy, when he saw Wapol, even though he was once a king, Luffy would still fight him because it's personal. At that moment, Luffy punched Wapol, sending him flying. But because the weather was too cold, he couldn't stand it and ran to find a coat to wear before coming back to continue the fight. While Luffy went to get a coat, Sanji and Chopper were fighting against Wapol's crew. At that time, Wapol caught Chopper to eat him, but luckily, Luffy came to rescue him in time. The fight continued, and Wapol transformed his body into a house that he called a factory, and he ate his 2 followers, producing another follower that was a combination of the 2. What was interesting in this fight was that Chopper created a special medicine he called a rumble ball, which enhanced Chopper's special abilities for 3 minutes. The first special ability is Walk Point, which allows him to run and dodge quickly. The second special ability is Jumping Point, which helps him jump high. The third special ability is Guard Point, which helps him defend himself well. He doesn't feel pain when hit. The fourth special ability is Arm Point, which helps him hit harder. The fifth special ability is Brain Point, which helps him scan for the enemy's weak points. At that moment, after scanning and finding the weak point, Chopper hit Wapol's subordinate with a powerful blow. Then, while Luffy was engrossed in watching Chopper's special moves, Wapol escaped into the castle where only Nami was. And as soon as he saw Nami, Wapol chased her to eat her, but because he was too big, he got stuck on the stairs and couldn't get down. At that moment, Wapol showed one of his special abilities. He could eat himself and transform into a new, thinner, and taller body. Then, Wapol caught Nami and was about to eat her, but Luffy gave him a gum kick to eat instead. At that time, Nami didn't thank Luffy but instead blamed him for getting the coat she lent him dirty. But later she changed her mind and said it was okay, he didn't have to return the coat, but he had to pay her back in money plus 300% interest for a total of 100,000 berries. The next fight between Wapol and Luffy wasn't very interesting. Just know that in the end, Luffy could easily take care of him. After everything was over, Chopper agreed to join Luffy's crew. When they returned to the ship, Vivi saw that Karoo had fallen into the water and was shivering from the cold. When Chopper checked with Karoo, he learned that it was Zoro's fault. Now they know that Chopper can talk to animals. Traveling with Luffy's crew, at first, Chopper wasn't used to it because they played around a lot and seemed completely carefree, but it wasn't long before Chopper joined in the fun with them. The next day, as they were traveling, a giant bird suddenly flew over their ship. Luffy called that creature a seagull. When it flew down towards Luffy, Luffy wasn't scared of it, and a moment later, it carried Luffy away. At that moment, Chopper was very worried for Luffy and ran around shouting for help, but the rest of Luffy's crew was sitting and playing cards, acting like they didn't know. They acted that way because they knew the bird didn't catch Luffy. In fact, Luffy was the one who caught it to cook. Now Chopper knows how amazing this pirate crew is. A few days later, before they even reached Alabasta, Sanji called Luffy for questioning because all the food in the refrigerator was gone. He suspected that Luffy was the one who secretly ate it, and when Luffy tried to lie, he made a very funny face which made Sanji realize the truth and kick him out, so that he wouldn't dare do it again. Besides Luffy, the others also had a share in stealing and eating the food, just not as much as Luffy. At that time, Sanji asked Nami to help find a refrigerator with a password lock. Otherwise, there would surely be no food left in the fridge. Later, when there was nothing to eat, Luffy was very hungry. He wanted to fish but couldn't catch any. He couldn't catch anything because Luffy even stole and ate the bait. It got to the point where they used Karoo as bait for fishing. Next, their boat had to sail through the smoke coming from an underwater volcano, and Nami told them they could sail through it without any danger. At the same time, Mr. Two boat also sped into the smoke with them. But when his boat came out of the smoke, Mr. Two was suddenly missing. At that time, in fact, Mr. Two had gone to Luffy's fishing spot, and at that moment, he couldn't hold on and fell into the water. Luckily, Luffy's crew helped pull him out in time. After being saved, Mr. Two told Luffy's crew that he had eaten a special fruit, so he couldn't swim. When Luffy's crew asked what his special skill was, Mr. Two suddenly slapped Luffy, knocking him down. Seeing this, Zoro drew his sword and a big fight was about to happen, but the skilled Mr. Two perfectly copied Luffy. Mr. Two's special ability is transformation. As long as he uses his right hand to touch someone, he can transform into that person. He copies not only the face but the body shape as well. The performance of Mr. Two, Luffy, Usopp, and Chopper was very enjoyable to watch, and at that time, he showed many other people that were in his memory. Among them was also the King of Alabasta, who is Vivi's father. Then, Mr. Two followers turned the boat back for him. At that moment, Mr. Two bid farewell to Luffy's crew with a sense of attachment. Although they met for a short time, it was a true friendship. Before that, Luffy's crew didn't know that person was Mr. Two, until his followers on the boat called him Mr. Two. Then Luffy's crew found out. After Mr. Two left the boat, Vivi told Luffy's crew that among the people Mr. Two copied earlier was her father, the King of Alabasta, which means Mr. Two is a dangerous person. Now he has copied the faces of everyone in Luffy's crew, so he can disguise himself as any one of Luffy's friends. Then, a giant sea cat suddenly appeared behind their boat, and Luffy's crew, who were hungry, saw the sea cat like they'd seen food for the first time in days. But at that moment, Vivi didn't let them catch the sea cat because the people of Alabasta consider it a sacred animal. This means they are getting very close to Alabasta now. And at the same time, they also saw many ships from the Baroque Works group heading towards Alabasta as well. Thank you all for following this story with me. I hope you all enjoy it and will help by liking and commenting a lot. I would also like to ask those who haven't subscribed to the Manachurnai channel to please subscribe to help give me encouragement. Thank you again, and I wish you good health and a prosperous future.